mean, you can see how angry he is. I don't like that. Oh, you see Naruto with his head down, man. Especially now, man. Like all the music gone. Oh, god damn it, dude. Why are you doing this to me? Oh. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we're going to be getting into Shippuden episodes 152 and 153, starting a new arc here. Been thinking about, just what this arc will entail for us. Last arc was a lot. When you it's funny, like when I was doing the my favorite character ranking at the end of last set of episodes, and trying to think who that might be, there was just like so many different things that happened, from like Orochimaru's death and Jiraiya's death and Itachi and Sasuke's arc, Madara reveal, Pain, like just so much happened last arc. So I'm very interested for what this arc's going to entail. I'm assuming that we'll pick back up with the Madara going after the other tails. I think he was going after, they didn't say what the other one was, but they still needed the 9 tails. So I'm assuming a lot of this will be about going after Naruto now, especially that Itachi's gone. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I'm a little worried about that. I don't know, man. I don't know if like Naruto is like prepared to take on someone like Pain, right? Because I think that's like who's supposed to go after Naruto. I don't know if Madara himself is going to go to the Elite Village. I feel like I'd kind of be surprised at this point if he still did that. I think he kind of wants to play in the shadows still a little bit. But yeah, like there's still some questions I have. Like I'm wondering when like Itachi and Naruto's conversation is going to come back into play here. Is that going to be like, something that has to do with this arc, or something that maybe has to do with Naruto and Sasuke later on? Like I want to know what he said to him. Yeah, man, lots to think about here. And after last arc, I definitely am, I got some high expectations, that's for sure. But yeah, I think with that being said, we can just go ahead and get into this. If y'all are new, or you want to follow on for more, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out, helps the channel out a ton. Appreciate any support, and I appreciate y'all's time watching some Naruto Shippuden with me. Let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. And they got the other one. Guess I had some of my questions answered already. The 6 tails, okay. Maybe they had mentioned that. Come on, pretend to be Toby, man. I don't know. Can you trust him? I'm getting more of my questions answered. They're not gonna show us what they talk about, are they? Come on. Okay. Break his bones. Damn, dude. Damn, dude. Itachi saw this far ahead, man. Yeah, Itachi for sure knows that, man.
サスケのことは諦めるんだの。遅かれ早かれこうなる運命だったんだ。もう苦しむな。忘れて切り捨てろ。術や力だけじゃない。忍びなら正しい判断や選択をする目を養え。忍びとして生きるならもっと賢くなれ。
Yeah.
この世界
The amount of maturity needed to be able to make really difficult decisions in this world.
わかったよ。賢いってのがそういうことなら俺は一
And then there's Naruto.
人でももっとすげえ術編み出せ。サスケは絶対助ける。前にも一度同じことを言われた。でも選択肢なんてね。まっすぐ自分の言葉は曲げねえ。それが俺の人道だ。
Man, I just get goosebumps from Naruto when he's like just has such crazy resolve.
お前に俺の力を分けてやる。
What?
その力使う日が来なければいいがな。
What does that even mean? Like, how do you share power with him and like that?
どういうことだってばよ。お前は俺を狙ってたんだろう。だったらここで。
もう行く。これから大事な用があるんでな。
あん時イタチは何を言いたかったんだ。なんで俺に。
サスケの勝ちだよ。うちはいたち
Oh yeah, he's hurt. I forgot about that.
倒れちゃったけどどうだろう。
お前今どうしてんだサスケ。無事だよな。
Killer B, man. He was so good.
大丈夫かサスケ。
急ごう。もうすぐ合流地点だ。約束通り8尾は連れてきた。
よくやったな。お前ならやれると信じていた。どこへ行く？
まずは傷を癒す。それから木の葉だ。
Man, I want to see Madara's full face.
一つ大切なことを聞く。イタチの生き様を知ったお前がイタチの意志を継ぎ、この葉を守るという考え。
Yeah, this is what I wanted to know. Like,
お前はどうしたい？
kind of where he feels about Itachi.
命をかけて里を守る生き様を見せてくれた。だが俺にとってはそんな生き様よりもイタチを失った悲しみの方が、どうしよう。
So he wants to take down the elders because of that.
俺の望むものじゃない。真実を知った今、イタチの生き様を継ぎ、この葉を守ることなど俺には到底できない。そして
Yeah.
3人は絶対に許せない。イタチの命を対象にしてヘラヘラと平和を満喫しているこの葉の連中も同罪だ。
That's interesting.
じゃなかったのか？
いや、俺一人でこの葉を全員やりたいからな。鷹の前ではそう言っただけだ。
Is he lying?
とか、あれだけの生き様を見せられてイタチの意志。
I feel like that's a lie.
無にしていいと本気でそう思えるのか？
あんたは言ったな。イタチがどうして俺を殺せなかったのか。イタチにとって俺の命は里よりも重かったからだ。俺も同じだ。俺にとってイタチの命は里よりも重い。それだけのことだ。内派を差別し、両親を兄弟に殺めさせ、
I mean, you can see how angry he is.
そして戦場を慕うこの葉の連中も全てがクソの吐きだめだ。全てが復讐の対象だ。
I don't like that.
俺を感情的に動くガキだとバカにするならそれでもいい。イタチの意志を受け入れるなど綺麗事だ。憎しみを知らぬ者どものざれ事だ。もし俺の生き様を否定するような奴らがいるなら、そいつらの大切な人
Jesus Christ, Sasuke. Fucking chill, bro. He sounds like a fucking little brat, dude.
この俺の憎しみを。
人は愛情を知ったとき、憎しみのリスクを背負う。
That's interesting. I like that.
なんだと？キラビーが連れ去られ。
This is the
うちは一
I
族
forgot the name of their Kage, but
後をつけています。
Raikage.
しましょう。
暁は許さんぞ。暁！我が弟よ、待っておれ。
Him like lifting iron, man. Man, see Naruto's like his like room and stuff, or like outside of it, just takes me back to classic Naruto. Like I feel like nostalgic almost already.
なんだ、カカシ先生か。
五代目がお呼びだ。すぐに支度しろ。
Oh god, it's got Gamma here.
あれガマおよびにガマ吉。
おお、ナルト。
朝っぱらから。なんでこんなとこいんの？なんかあったのか？
実はガマキシ、おめえはいらんこと。
Oh no.
頭と綱手に任しとったらええんじゃ。
I guess they haven't like spread the news about Jiraiya yet, right?
いいから行くぞ。
Dude, it's gonna fucking destroy Naruto, man. Fuck. Even more toads. Oh.
この子がジライヤちゃんの弟子か？
はい、これが渦巻きナルト。その話の予言の子でしょう。
ジジイの
ほら、口を慎めナルト。こちらは妙木山の二大仙人の一人、ガサク様だ。お前に用があってわざわざお越しになった。
正確には二大仙釜じゃ。そんなことよりじゃ、お前はジライヤちゃんの弟子に間違いないかいの？
ジライヤちゃんちゃんってエロ仙人をガキ扱いかよ。なんなんだってばよこのジジイがいる。
Oh my gosh. He's so defensive.
この方はジライヤ様に仙人術をお教えになられたジライヤ様の師です。
ね。
エロ仙人。
ジジイ仙人が一体俺に何の用だってばよ。
どっから話せばええのかの？そうじゃの。とりあえず言っておくが、ジライヤちゃんが戦死した。
は？何言ってんだよ。
いきなりのことじゃ。信じられんのも無理はない。ジライヤちゃんは自ら噂の真偽を確かめに行ったんじゃ。
暁のリーダーが雨隠れに？
確かあそこはかなり潜入困難な閉鎖的な里だったはずですよね。
ああ、しかしジライヤ様は潜入重宝の術に長けた方だからな。
その通り。
Oh, they're gonna take me back to this shit, dude.
自分で考えた結論です。
God, man. This is so freaking sick. So sad, though.
のもとにたどり着いた。だが
外見はだいぶ変わったが、その目、やはりお前がペインだったか。長門、正しい成長はしてないようだの。何があった？
あなたは知らなくていい。所詮外の人間だ。
ペインはジライヤちゃんのかつての教え子だったんじゃ。
教え子ってどういうことですか？
ジライヤちゃんは長門と呼んでおったが。
昔のことだ。臨海大戦の混乱の中、当時戦場となった雨隠れで
Yeah, Tsunade remembers.
面倒を見ていたんだ。まさかあの時の子供がな。
Yes. Pretty grim, dude.
その忍びを追い込むとは。
This is some bad luck almost.
奴はリンネガンを持っとった。
なんですって。
リンネガン？リンネガンは忍びの始祖とされる陸道仙人が持っていたと言われる道術よ。
伝説の同術、リンネガン。その能力は想像を超えたものじゃった。しかも
リンネガンが6人も。
Yeah.
まさかそんなことが。
OP, man. OP.
理があるのかもしれん。おそらくあの場にいたジライヤちゃんだけが奴の秘密に気づいたんじゃが。ジライヤちゃん！ペインとの戦闘で喉を潰されてしもうたジライヤちゃんが最後にわしにメッセージを残して。
Let's see it, man.
それがこれじゃ。
His last words.
ペインに気づかれんようそうしたに違いない。ここまでがジライヤちゃんのすべてじゃ。
Oh, you see Naruto with his head down, man.
それを解読すればわかるということですね。
ばあちゃんが行かせたのか。
She did.
そうだ。
なんでそんな無茶許したんだってばよ。ばあちゃんはエロ仙人の性格よく分かってたんだろう。たった一人でそんな危ないところに。
よせナルト。5代目の気持ちがわからないお前じゃないだろ。
Yeah.
一人じゃ危険すぎる。
Closer to him than like anyone, basically, man.
お前もその意味を
Even Naruto to a degree.
使ったお前も今や50のババア。死に別れた者たちへの思いがその大きな胸に詰まっているのかと思うと。
Jesus Christ, man.
はこの先も増える。だがしんみりするのは血と違うの。わしらの役目は。
Oh, dude, this make me so fucking sad. Jiraiya, man.
手命をかける。それが年寄りのかっこよさというものだろうの。
ナルト、どこ行くの？
エロ仙人が5代目ほかげになってたら、つなねのばあちゃんにこんな無茶はさせなかった。絶対。
Damn, man. He's taking out on Tsunade.
さくら、いい。少しそっとしておいてやれ。
It's not really fair, to be honest.
ナルトとはいずれまた。
ああ、それでさっき説明した予言の子についてじゃけどの。あの子がジライヤちゃんをまっすぐに慕っとったのがよ。
Yeah.
予言の子はあの子であってほしいとそう願わずにはおれん。
Don't we all? Said a freaking Nagato, man.
からお前に教える口寄せの術だ。
See, ha, whoo, ha. This part is so sick. I remember thinking like Naruto had upgraded so much to the point where it's like he can summon this guy. He's gonna be able to beat everyone now.
なんで俺がエロ仙人と一緒に取材旅行なん
ただの取材旅行じゃねえの。取材したい女がいてそいつを探さにはならん。
ねえなんで俺選んだの？
わしはな、昔四代目火影を弟子にしていてな。そんでお前はその四代目に面白いくらい似てる。
And the soundtrack's beautiful.
時間は無駄には使わん。道中は全てお前に時間を当てるからの。
俺に？
お前を強くする時間、修行だ。
I love this like tribute to him, man. I know Naruto's like dead inside, but like, and it's really sad to see. Oh God, not the fucking popsicles. As I say that. Yeah, it's sad to see, but also like, it's just you see what Jiraiya was like, and you know, all his sacrifice was completely worth it. He brought so much joy the whole time, man. Just like looking at those like pervy comments and just his demeanor, man. He's great.
エロ仙人が5代目火影になってたら、綱根のばあちゃんにこんな無茶はさせなかった。絶対。
ナルト。さくら、いい。少しそっとしておいてやれ。
In a way, that's probably why he wouldn't be the fifth Hokage.
悪いな。いつもそんな役回りを押し付け。
なんだ急に。
影になるべきは本来お前だったということだ。三代目はずっと次の火影をお前にと。
わしはそんな柄じゃない。自由気ままが性にある。
オロチマルを止められなかったことを悔い、とオロチマルの動きを一人で調べ回っていたのだろう。
He's a lone wolf to a degree, man. Not a lone wolf, but
これで小説の続編も早く出せるってもんだ。
it was good for him to have some independence.
ちゃん、
大丈夫ですか師匠？
ああ、問題ない。
Oh, she's got to be so strong right now.
知らせを聞いたばかりじゃ気落ちするのも無理はないがの。
Yeah.
お主には里を守る。
We'll just definitely at risk right now, man.
じゃあ、
はい。
それってジライエちゃんが残した手がかり。
Yes, please.
ではこの背中の暗号以外の。
Ooh. Oh, yeah, they got the shinobi. That one dude.
雨隠れの忍びが入っとる。そしてもう一つ。
Oh, and one more? Oh, the Naruto thing, right?
やつの中には
Oh, nope, never mind.
抵抗したペインの死体が。
レインの。
Okay, that one's one we haven't known at all, I don't think, right? Oh, would have thought I'd be sad from seeing the title Makeout Tactics.
こらー、何やってんだエロ仙人。
湧くの。
Yeah, it's like you can smile almost within the pain just because of who Jiraiya was, man.
これがペインじゃ。
波紋模様、伝説の輪廻が
Dissect those eyes. Put it in somebody.
しく調べればあやつらを倒すヒントが見えてくるかもしれん。よう取れとるわい。これで預かったものは全て渡したぞ。わしは帰るが何か分かったら知らせてくれ。ジライエちゃんの弟子が。
We need a new Toad Sage, man. Or maybe not. Maybe we can't have one like Jiraiya.
掴んでみせます。
いいか、ナルト。前を強くするのに使える時間はたった3年だ。その間ビシビシ鍛えてやるから覚悟しろな。
もちろんだってばよ。俺は今度こそあいつを連れ戻すんだ。立ち止まってる暇なんかね。もう我慢できねえ。
Dude, look at the toad he's on.
修行に地味も派手もあるか、このバカで。
You fool student. Damn, man.
サスケ、お前がわしに勝とうなんざ100年早いの。
100年も待てるかっての。今度こそ。
So when you got the new fit. That's cute.
超かっこいいってばよ。
Aww. Oh, it's so sad, dude. Fuck.
よ、ナルト。
Man, long time no see, dude.
任務でも随分活躍してるみたいだな。里のみんなも噂してるぞ。久しぶりに話でもしない。
He needs this, dude.
でも行くか。ラーメン。
Yeah. He's probably not even hungry, dude.
やめとく。
ね、今からっすか？
そうだ、それを持って今すぐ行ってこい。
暗号解読班のやつだってこんな時間まで仕事してないっすけど。
私の命令だと言って招集しろ。とにかくこの件はお前に任せた。
重要な暗号ってことは分かってますけど、他に任務のない暇なやつとか誰かに。どこ行くんすか？俺はもともと別件でここに。
シカマル。
でもよ。
今日は綱手様、朝からずっと忙しくされていたから。
She needs time to go grieve too, man.
そりゃこっちだって。
シカマル、お願い。
Not no.
しかし、お前また綺麗。
相変わらずだね。
もしその木の葉の里を裏切るような真似をしてみろ。その時はわしがお前を殺すぞ。じゃあお得意のギャンブルと行こう。お前はわしの死の方にかけろ。お前の賭けは必ず外れるからの。その代わりわしが
Her luck is turning around. Luck.
冗談だ冗談。お前には感謝してる。
はじめましてだな。俺ジライヤってんだ。ラブレターは後でいいぜ。よろしく。
Definitely reminds me a lot of what was it, episode 82? When Shikamaru's like grieving Asuma. Kind of similar vibes, honestly. Similar themes. Especially now, man. Like these, all the music gone. Oh, god damn it, dude. Why are you doing this to me? Oh. Oh.
ナルト。ジライヤ様のことは聞いたよ。
俺のことずっと見てて欲しかった。俺がほかげになるとこ見ててもらいたかったのに。エロ仙人にはかっこ悪いとこばっかしか見せらんなくて。これってば。
ジライヤ様はお前のことをいつも褒めてたよ。自分の孫のようだといつも鼻高々に話してくださった。お前が
Godfather, man.
在だと信じていた。いずれ立派なほかげになると信じて疑ってなかった。ジライヤ様はお前をずっと見てるさ。今だってどこからかな。あの人はお前が落ち込んでいるのを見ても褒めてはくれないぞ。だから今まで通りの褒めてもらえるようなお前でいればいい。いつまでも落ち込んでんな。
That's the key. You can be sad and depressed for a little bit, but you gotta move on too. Oh my god. Guys, this is so sad.
ありがとう、イルカ先生。
Beautiful.
お疲れです。どうすか？
ああ、いろいろ調べてみたがね、これこの葉隠れの暗号じゃないね。どのアルゴリズムにも適用せんからね。ジライヤ様がギリギリで残されたことを考えると、それほど複雑な暗号ではないと思うがね。数字の羅列だから共通鍵暗号だね。
Gotta decrypt that shit.
ぶっちゃけ鍵を知らないと無理です。
Who is that?
つまりこの暗号を解く規則を知らなくては絶対に解けません。はい、ジライヤ様と共通の何かしらの鍵となる決め事を知らなければダメです。
どうすればその鍵を？
それはわかりませんが、ジライヤ様のことをよく知っておられる方なら鍵を知っておられるかもしれませんね。
お亡くなりになった状況からして残した情報の内容を敵に知られぬよう急遽思いつかれた暗号かもしれんから何とも言えんがね。誰に伝えたかったのか考えてその方に当たってみれば何か手がかり。
I feel like it would be like probably Naruto, right? Or Tsunade. Kakashi's a good one too. Yeah, maybe not for Naruto because Naruto's not usually big brained.
ああ、でも帰って寝てるから家に来てね、家に。
And Shiho.
誰かがここにいないといけません。
Crush on that Shikamaru. Okay.
何か思いつかないですか？ジライヤ様と交わした会話とかでこの数字に関すること。
この106って数字は確かジライヤ様
106だの。
何がですか？
You gotta be kidding me, bro. Oh, jeez, man.
メカナルトに当たってみたらどうだ
5代目のところにはもう行きました。あとはナルトっすか。
暗号のこともそうだがあいつのことも心配でね。そっちの方も頼む。
あんまり期待されてもね。
Shikamaru is too gloomy for that, man.
なんだルスかよ。
シカマルか。なんだってばよ。
とりあえず上がっていいか。どうだ何か分かったか？
He doesn't really look like he's in a state to really think.
どうなんだナルト。
Yeah.
ああ、悪い悪い。ってなんだっけ？
Damn, it's so relatable, man.
ちょっと俺に付き合え。
なんだってばよ。
Man, these are heavy episodes.
なんだって急にこんなとこ。
ちょっと待っとけ。あ、来た。
で、紅先生。焼肉の食いすぎで病院かよ。超じいじょ。
Oh my god, Naruto.
やっぱお前は。
じゃあ。
シカマル、あなた毎回ここに来るのやめなさい。
どうも行かないっすよ。アスマに頼まれてるんですから。
Maybe Shikamaru is a good one to teach.
俺の弟子になる。アスマから託された子だ。ジライヤ様のことは聞いた。俺も死をなくしてっからお前の気持ちがわからないでも。うじうじしてても始まんねえだろ。とっくにそんな立場じゃなくなってんだよ。
どういうことだってばよ。
俺は死からいろいろなもんを託された。
Yeah, what did Jiraiya entrust you with, Naruto?
くだらないことまでいろいろだ。お前だってそうだろう。それこそ数限りなくよ。そろそろなんじゃねえか俺たちも。
何か
託される側から託す側にならねえとよ。めんどくせえけど言ってらんねえだろ。お前もいずれラーメンおごる側になるし。
Yep.
と先生とか呼ばれんだろ。
Naruto Sensei, dude.
俺たちだって。
I would love to see that day. Imagine him as a freaking teacher.
あんなかっけえ忍びになりてえならよ。
Man, you see how important it is to have good people around you.
もっとしっかりしろよ。やることがあんだからよ。
Good episodes, man. Sad, so sad. It got me more than I thought it would, but yeah, really good. Alright, y'all, let's go ahead and get in the review section here. Yeah, y'all, really, really sad set of episodes. You know, I've been worried about Naruto's reaction to Jiraiya's death, and I think it's very grounded and realistic, especially for someone like Naruto, who historically really hasn't had a lot of people close to him, but especially like a father figure, kind of like Jiraiya has been for him. You know, it's once again a really good way of conveying like just like how difficult grief is to manage. You know, we see that in Naruto, of course, but we see in Tsunade as well. Like both of them kind of having important things on their plate with duty, with kind of taking the next steps to, you know, intake Jiraiya's sacrifice and protect the village and learn ways to, you know, combat Rinnegan and whatnot, or pain in general. And both of them are kind of stuck in their own heads to a degree. You know, you see Tsunade kind of snapping herself out of it a couple of times and, you know, doing what she needs to do, but Naruto, it's kind of a little bit of a longer path for him to get to a point where he kind of gets out of his own head a little bit more, and he needs help from a couple of different of his friends or mentors here to do that. I really love the production of the episodes. You know, the soundtrack I thought was, like the choices they made was very, very well done, especially pairing that with, you know, kind of Naruto's experience as he's like kind of going around the village and just is so downtrodden and being reminded of Jiraiya and so many flashbacks that we see. And, you know, the pairing of the music with those flashbacks and kind of Naruto's deep sadness is just so beautiful in a way. You know, you can feel it so much. And there's a couple of really great moments too of like art design that is very familiar, you know, really reminds me of Shikamaru's grief. And of course we get that connected with Shikamaru and helping Naruto kind of change his perspective and try to have a different outlook on what this loss means. You know, as Naruto's going out to the convenience store, for example, that, you know, kind of the grayish overtones of the no soundtrack or anything. I think those scenes are really great, you know, and not that the other scenes aren't great, like I just said, these scenes with like the really beautiful soundtracks are just as important, but I really like when it gets kind of contrasted against like more of a realistic place where it's just silence, you know. I feel like that kind of is such a more realistic way to show like what it's like to go through that kind of pain, where everything around you is kind of like tuned out and you're just in your own head, and then you're in the, you know, you don't really feel like you're part of the world, kind of. But there's definitely a very you know, strong focus on the fact that, you know, despite going through this pain, you really still need to be able to focus on your duties. You know, both Tsunade and Naruto are challenged on that here, and I don't know, it's definitely hard. I think everyone can understand that, right? Like, if you've gone through a deep time of sadness or loss, you know, it's very difficult to focus on the world around you and what you need to do. You know, you just so, you know, grief-stricken, so much deep sadness within you, so it's really hard to focus. But, you know, the lesson there is you need to fulfill your duties. You know, it's not something that, you know, anyone would want in that situation. Like, if you lost someone in this case, like Jiraiya wouldn't want Naruto to just mope around or stay in his depression and you know, not continue on his path of being, you know, the shinobi he wants to be for the Leaf Village. You know, somebody who's going to put the village first all the time. I think one thing that was like really well done in this episode is like, and it's not even just the episode, but maybe just about Jiraiya as a character, was like the fact that we get so many flashbacks in a really heavy and sad episode, but like those flashbacks kind of make you laugh. You know, you just see how lighthearted and goofy Jiraiya was at heart, but yet still so mature and took so much responsibility and ownership over his duty. And, you know, just a few different moments, like, you know, Naruto seeing like the make out tactics, you know, just seeing that is silly, but like it reminds him of, so it's sad at the same time. And, you know, all these flashbacks of Jiraiya just being, you know, a pervy sage, and you know, it almost is like a reminder to like stay lighthearted in these times too. So I really liked just like how Jiraiya as a character could kind of, I don't know, at least for me, like bring that out of me almost, even though I was really sad watching this. Like, I still felt some joy from just experiencing Jiraiya as a character. And I'm imagining, like, in this world, that if you were part of this world, that it would be a similar experience, where if you lost him, you know, you can still really value and take some joy out of just who he was and all the laughter he gave to them. I think the scene that, you know, hit me the deepest was definitely the one where, you know, Naruto goes out during the night, goes to the convenience store and buys the popsicles. I remember really loving that scene in classic Naruto and just how you know, impactful that was. It kind of showed just how much of a father figure Jiraiya was to Naruto, right? And I know he's like his godfather, but you know, in reality, yeah, he is this father figure that Naruto never had. And for him to kind of go out and seek that popsicle, you know, that kind of that split popsicle again, just like shows like what Naruto has really lost here. And I love how Iruka kind of comes into that picture and, you know, is able to sit with Naruto and actually, like, Naruto can talk about why this is so sad. Like, he really wanted Jiraiya to keep watching over him and to really have Jiraiya see Naruto fulfill his dream of becoming the Hokage. And, you know, Iruka needs to remind Naruto that whether Jiraiya is here or not, he always had faith in him that he would become the Hokage, that he always saw, you know, who Naruto was and everything that he could be. And, you know, just because he's gone doesn't mean that faith isn't there still, or that he's not watching over him in some fashion. You know, whether you're religious or not, you know, sometimes I think that's a helpful thing to kind of try to internalize, is like, you know, whether you believe that people are actually watching over you from the grave or not, or from heaven, it's nice to like think about just trying to inherit what they would want, you know? And that's such like a crucial theme in Naruto in general, like kind of passing down the torch and, you know, inheriting the will of the previous generation, you know, that they instill in you to kind of take over that duty and responsibility and to be mature about it, right? And that's especially seen with Shikamaru's and Naruto's scene. And, you know, Shikamaru really encourages Naruto to take that meaning from Jiraiya's sacrifice, right? To keep growing from it and to take on the will of Jiraiya to be the one to now pass down that will, right? Naruto is somebody who can represent Jiraiya really well. You know, they're very similar in a lot of ways, but Naruto is so strong, he can inherit that will and be such a good, you know, mentor for the next generation. You know, you really need to take meaning out of loss a lot of times. But yeah, I think these episodes really hit me hard. I mean, I think it's just sad seeing it all, but also like, you know, for me, I've been going through a little bit of a harder time in life right now, and I think episodes like this sometimes give me a lot of meaning to kind of rethink the way I kind of deal with pain in life, you know? Yeah, it felt like a good episode for me to watch right now. I felt really bad for Tsunade too, and just like, you know, Naruto kind of lashing out at her and kind of blaming her for letting Jiraiya go there, you know, being a little reckless. And, you know, he compares that if like Jiraiya was a Hokage, he would never put Tsunade in that position. But he doesn't know that Tsunade tried to stop her and that Jiraiya really assumed this duty and responsibility fully himself. You know, that was just who Jiraiya was. And, you know, he wasn't going to let the closeness of his comrades necessarily get in the way of what he needs to do. But I think that was really hard for Tsunade to kind of try to, you know, not hit deep, because I'm sure she already does feel guilty. She didn't want him to go, and, you know, she had everybody, even probably more so than Naruto, is experiencing probably the most loss. You know, she's known Jiraiya for so long, and such a critical person in her life, and you know, they went through wars together, you know, or sanings together, you know, just always had like a very interesting friendship dynamic, and, you know, even maybe romantic, I don't know, because, you know, they kind of left that open-ended to a degree. So yeah, it was just sad seeing that, you know. I'm sure Naruto at this point will understand as he moves forward more and more, but yeah, I just feel for Tsunade there. Outside of the actual, you know, like just the emotion of these episodes, we do get a decent amount of, you know, kind of questions being answered. You know, it's funny, I had like talked about, you know, different things that we still have yet to be answered from the last arc at the beginning of the intro, and lo and behold, like it starts right away. You know, Naruto learned about Jiraiya's death. Itachi and Naruto's conversation. I thought that was really interesting. You know, Itachi kind of trying to challenge Naruto a little bit on, you know, what he'll do if Sasuke is just, you know, being impressionable and not really maturing to see the big picture and is, you know, out to destroy the leaf. You know, would he kill Sasuke in that situation? And Naruto's answer, of course, is like, you know, he'd always put the leaf first, but that he would also save Sasuke. He'd find a way to stop him without killing him. And Itachi, of course, thinks that's immature. You know, the reality of the world is that it's very cruel, and you're going to be put in situations where you need to make hard decisions. You know, you can't always have the best of both worlds kind of thing, right? Sometimes it requires a sacrifice. But Naruto, you know, he takes meaning from that, right? Or like it reminds him of the conversation I had with Jiraiya at the end of classic Naruto, where Jiraiya was kind of challenging Naruto not to go after Sasuke, to kind of let it go because it'll just cause him more pain. He needs to have, you know, good judgment of, you know, what is worth investing in, what's not, for, you know, yourself and your pain that you open yourself up to, but also just like being, I think, realistic with the fact that the world is kind of cruel. And Naruto's answer back then was like so inspiring to a degree. And it's interesting, it's being challenged again of like how he's like, well, if that's what it means to be wise, I want to be a fool. You know, my way of the ninja is to never go back on my word. I'm always going to challenge myself to be able to do what's important to me. And in this case is to save his friend Sasuke. And, you know, he's not going to let even Sasuke himself get in the way of that, which is just, you know, it's almost like a naive stubbornness almost, but in some ways it does, you know, motivate Naruto so much to just be the best, to be the greatest he can be no matter what. And if he ever fails, you know, well, damned, he tried, right? He did everything he could, and, you know, maybe he could have saved himself some pain or some, you know, disappointment, but at least he is, you know, really giving it his all. So I don't know, it's interesting that, you know, there's like kind of the realist perspective of like, yeah, the world's cruel and you're not going to be able to do everything or save everyone, but Naruto doesn't really care. He's like, I'm just going to do it my own way, which I think is really interesting. And then, you know, Itachi leaves power, some kind of power with Naruto. Very interested, but that's going to be, I feel like that's going to be the smoking gun of this arc kind of thing, right? Like, hey, this has been put into play. I'm imagining that it's going to come into handy with Naruto facing against, I don't know if it's going to be facing against Sasuke or if it's going to be facing against like Pain, because I'm assuming, you know, actually I don't know, because Sasuke says he's coming to Leaf Village, so maybe it'll be Sasuke, but I'm kind of surprised that Sasuke is kind of already going to Leaf Village. Is he going to be there at the same time as Pain, like, or is it going to be a little bit of a, I don't know, like, are they going to work together? It's going to be really interesting, but how is Naruto going to end up using this power? You know he's going to have to use it. But it's just interesting that Itachi kind of thought, even this far ahead, that Sasuke would maybe be influenced by Madara, for example, to go after the leaf and to try to destroy them, and that, you know, Naruto might even need support to do that. It's kind of like vetting who Naruto was and his character to see if he could maybe trust him with that power. Speaking of Sasuke, let's talk a little bit about the conversation with him and Madara after Squad Taka had left. You know, seemingly this seems to be his true intention, that he wants to destroy the leaf in general. Like, he is fully intertwined with his hatred. He honestly sounds a little freaking bratty or a little crazy in this, you know, like making some pretty wild statements about the Leaf Village. You know, all the people who are living in peace because of Itachi's sacrifice deserve death too, right? So he at least claims that he intends to destroy the Leaf Village completely, everybody, not just the elders. You know, he's especially angry at the elders, of course, but, you know, he has hatred for the people, even, you know, the Senju clan, the people who gained from Itachi's sacrifice. And so he's not really, you know, taking in the part of like Itachi protecting the leaf. He more so is like, hey, like Itachi, the loss of Itachi is more important to me than, you know, how Itachi lived. I take more from, you know, what happened to Itachi and what he had to do, what he was forced to do from the leaf, and what he ended up doing for Sasuke, right? Like, he even though he did this all for the leaf, he ended up not being able to fulfill it all because he loves Sasuke more. And Sasuke's kind of internalizing that part. It's like, well, I care more about Itachi than the leaf, so I'm going to do it my own way by destroying the leaf. And, you know, part of me thinks some of this is misdirection, right? Because, you know, we heard in the last set of episodes that he intends to use the Akatsuki for his own goals, versus like just conforming. I don't know if he's just kind of saying this because it's maybe what Madara would want to hear, and you can see Madara's trying to understand if it's the truth or not. But you do see his like visceral reaction. He's squeezing the chair. You can feel his anger and hatred. So yeah, it's I'm imagining that it is somewhat truthful. I don't know if it's the full truth, but yeah, you kind of see some of the immaturity in Sasuke here, kind of like Itachi was saying that he's kind of easily influenced, even just through Itachi's death itself. He's kind of hyper focusing on, you know, the truth of Itachi and that loss versus maybe the bigger picture here. I really like the last line too, where Sasuke's walking out and Madara says, "When a man learns to love, he must bear the risk of hatred." I think that's really interesting. You know, like hatred doesn't come out of nothing. It comes out of like, you know, being close to people and loving people, and then, you know, experiencing some form of loss or unfairness or cruelty of the world that takes those people away or those things away. I just think that's like, you know, pretty deep. Pretty hard line right there, but it also just makes me curious. It's like, hey, like what's the right way to, you know, overcome hatred, right? You know, for Sasuke, his whole arc has been about, you know, feeding his hatred to get revenge, and now that revenge has kind of been misdirected, or has been misdirected because it was towards Itachi, but now he understands the truth and he's like, I'm going to go after the Leaf Village with my hatred. So like, what's the means to the end, right? Like, what's your end goal here? Just to get vengeance? Is that really going to quell your hatred, or is it just going to expand it? You know, I think Sasuke is kind of stuck with this still, with his hatred, and has to be healthier ways for him to overcome it or to process it in better ways. I think a big part of that is kind of forgiveness is a big thing. Now that's a whole can of worms too. Like, how do you actually forgive people who like really do you wrong? Like, how could you forgive the elders in this case, for example? You know, understanding's part of that, but also just like, I think you have to be a very, very, very mature person to be able to do that. You have to go through a lot. So you have to kind of get closer to that like self-actualization, you know, to be able to really overcome such a hard emotion like hatred. But I'm really curious on Sasuke's path or where this character arc is going to go, because I think that's going to be like a really big thing for his character. What his character is supposed to represent is how, you know, hatred drives people and how you're supposed to overcome it. You know, I think Naruto is obviously going to be a big part of that. You know, you need help from your friends and comrades to do that, but I'm curious on how Sasuke's path will take him. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the character ratings. For MVP, I'm going to give that to Shikamaru, and just kind of, you know, trying to recontextualize what Naruto needs to remember about Jiraiya and kind of, you know, passing down the torch for the will of the fire, or will of the leaf, which I think is will of the fire, and just kind of trying to mature with this, right? Mature with this and take on what Jiraiya would have wanted, and giving meaning to that. For the best moment, I'm going to give that to Iruka, and, you know, splitting the popsicles with Naruto. I thought that scene was really beautiful, really heartbreaking, but just love all the connections to classic Naruto and how important Jiraiya was, but also just how important Iruka and Shikamaru and all these other people are in Naruto's lives for him to process this loss. And for the funniest moment, I'll give it to Jiraiya. Some of the flashbacks, they were really funny. He was really, really funny in these episodes. Naruto was pretty funny too, but specifically, I really loved the joke with 106. And like, Kakashi's like, 106. Thinks back to Jiraiya just guessing what Tsunade's cup size is, basically. No, not cup size, I guess. The size. Ridiculous, man. But yeah, pervy sage indeed. And then we will skip over the Sako this time. No one gets Sako this time. Yeah. I mean, Sasuke could maybe, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt for now. I want to learn more about his real inner mindset first. So, but yeah, y'all, I think that'll do for these episodes. I hope you all enjoyed this one. Let me know what you thought about in the comments below, and I will catch you for the next episodes. Peace.